Rana Campbell, your Chief Dream Driver, and welcome to the No Parking Podcast, where through conversations and discussions with creators like yourself, we'll find interesting approaches to help you take your dreams out of park, put them in drive, and ride towards success. Hey, Dream Drivers, welcome to episode 124. We don't have a guest today, but we're going to be talking about a topic with me. The topic is Stop Half Trying, How to Stay Motivated in 2018. So last year, I did an episode on Christmas with my sister. And then after that, I did an episode talking about 53 ways or 52 ways to win in the new year. A lot of people like those episodes. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to bring Naima back on this year, but I did have an encounter with my dad that really fueled that episode topic today. So we'll get to that in a little bit. First of all, make sure you are following us wherever you're listening, whether you're in Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. We're also now on Spotify. Please make sure to subscribe so that you get notifications every time we have a new episode. I also ask that you follow us on social. So we are Dreams and Drive across the board on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I love it when you guys use the hashtag Dreams and Drive, and also when you share on Instagram stories or post a screenshot on Twitter. Those are great ways to let other people know about the content and to just invite other people to listen and join the Dreams and Drive family. Also, make sure if you are not already part of our Facebook group, I have lots of big plans for in 2018. I want to make sure a lot of our listeners are also in the Facebook group. Just go to dreamsanddrive.com/Facebook. And if you're not on our mailing list, you might not know this, but I'm also doing a listener feedback survey. So I want to hear from you guys. Like, what has been your favorite episode of 2017? What are some suggestions that you have? What have you really liked about the show this year? Just go to dreamsanddrive.com/survey. That's dreamsanddrive.com/survey if you want to take it. It's really short and quick. And also, I'm going to be giving away a $15 Visa gift card to one of the people who fill it out. So you have until January 1st to fill that out. So this week, as I promised, for the month of December, we are doing giveaways. And our last giveaway of the year is going to be with Carol's daughter. Now, Lisa Price, I've actually met Lisa twice. I got to interview her or help produce an interview with her for a work project, but not for the podcast. So hopefully maybe in 2018 she'll come on Dreams and Drive. So I partnered up with Carol's daughter to do a giveaway. So we're going to be giving away 2 sets. They're hair milk gift sets. So if you want to enter to win one of the Carol's daughter hair milk gift sets, just go to dreamsanddrive.com/win. That's dreamsanddrive.com/win. And this giveaway is going to be running for 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from the episode air date is when the giveaway will be closed. So make sure you go and enter for your mama, your sister, your brother, who knows, anybody who wants to win Carol's daughter hair milk gift set. So this episode of, why we need to stop half trying and how to stay motivated in 2018, the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because this year I've been going super duper hard, like really, really hard, putting out 1 episode every Monday, sometimes putting out 2 episodes a week. As you guys know, I am a solopreneur right now, so it's only me on the team. I do outsource some things, but for the most part, I'm doing everything. So that's podcast production, execution, pitching guests, all that stuff, right? So anyway, I've been going really, really hard, but the last few weeks of December I just hit like a slump. So my day job is I work in marketing. I'm a marketing specialist there. It's B2B marketing for e-commerce fulfillment company. So, it's not really the sexiest of jobs, but I definitely get to learn a lot about what makes online businesses run and how a lot of these top brands, which are our clients, how they're doing on the e-commerce and omni-channel front. So if you're in the e-commerce business, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, it's really important to understand the future of logistics when it comes to e-commerce. But anyway, I can geek out on that stuff, but that is not what this podcast is about today. So this podcast, I really want to talk about like this whole slump and just hitting this slump and not feeling motivated and not feeling inspired. And then because I wasn't inspired, I didn't really want to put out the episode. So we had some great guests this month. We had Jamar Mills, episode 121, Kim Coles, episode 122, Dashida Dawson, episode 123. I had awesome opportunities this month. I got to drive a Mazda Miata, 2017 Mazda Miata. On behalf of Mazda for a week, got to post some really good pictures. I'm working on a story for that. So a lot of good things have been happening, but inside I just felt like blah. Like literally, I wish you guys could see, I wish podcasts could be visual at a moment and you could just see the face that I'm doing right now. I just felt like blah. And I think I had podcasters burnout or podcasters block. It got to the point where like the idea of having to do another interview just was like, whoo. And I had to tell myself, maybe it's just a signal that you need to slow down. You need to really slow down, think about what you're doing, and think about the purpose behind what you're doing. And let me tell you a little story that will kind of lead us into what I really want to talk about today. So one day I came home from work and I was, I live with my parents, and I asked my mom, where's my dad? Because he had surgery earlier that week. So I just wanted to say, what's up, Dad? And she said she didn't know. So I went into the basement and I hear Jamar Mills' voice. And I'm like, what? And I, keep going. And I see my dad at his computer table and he's listening to the Jamar Mills episode. He's on the dreamsanddrive.com website and he's just sitting there nodding his head and, just really looking into it. He had one of his arms in a sling and he just was like really, really into it. And I really wanted to shed a tear that moment because my parents, I love my parents. They're fabulous Jamaican, Caribbean parents, but they are not the type of people to show expression and feelings outwardly. They weren't the type of parents to be like, we're so proud of you every second of the day. They'll be like, we expect this of you. So to see my dad, and it's funny, ironic that he was like in the basement listening to it, kind of away from everyone else, but it just made me so happy to see him at that moment. If you follow me on social, we're Dreams and Drive, or my personal Instagram handle, or my personal Snapchat, Rain Shine Love. So that's RAINSHINELUV. You could see that I had posted the whole exchange on those channels, and you never really know who's inspired. You never know who's rooting for you. You never know who wants to see you win because you're not always going to get outward gratification or outward praise. And I'm somebody who my love language is words of affirmation. So for me, that fuels me, right? It fuels me to know that people are being impacted by what I'm doing and they're telling that to me. So at times when I don't get that, it's like the end of the world for me, but I have to learn how to navigate because it's not always going to happen. Because let's say I don't get anybody responding to anything I'm doing for the next 6 months. Am I just going to give up? No. And I hope people who are listening in, who may feel like that too, is you're not always going to be feeling 100%. There are going to be times as an entrepreneur, as a dream driver, when you're going to be driving down that road all by yourself for miles, for days, for months, for years, but you have to be convicted in knowing what your purpose and your vision is. And that's why I'm thinking, going into 2018, what is the message that I want to leave with you guys at the end of the year? And there's this whole idea of stop half trying. You got to get yourself inwardly motivated, right? You have to really figure out what's that thing that you're going to go whole for in 2018. And why do I want to talk about that? So, after I had that whole, moment with my dad and I was like, oh my God, Daddy, you listen to the podcast? And he was just like, yeah, and anyway, so I asked him for some feedback. I always love to ask people for feedback. And my dad is somebody who I look up to and who I really, he's the original inspiration, or he's the original OG dream driver. When we were younger, my dad used to tell us how when he used to want to be a pilot and his dream was to, retire and backpack across China. That was just something that I always remember him talking about. He wants to backpack across China before he dies. So anyway, when I asked my dad for feedback, I was really, really interested in what he was going to say. So here is the audio of what my dad said, and it gets a little cut off at the end, but this is my dad in a nutshell, okay?
Get half mark. Mm-hmm. For what? To say you half try? No.
That's true.
You either do it right or don't do it. That's why even upstairs when I tell you, wash the thing clean. It's not a matter of everything. He right, there's a lot of things he said which is basically true. You either do it good or you don't do it.
That's true.
You either put your clothes on good or you don't put your clothes, you look shabby.
Yeah.
You can't have half done and think you're going to have the same success. It doesn't work. You can't put half-minded into anything and think you're going to get maximum benefit. No.
That's really
You have to put everything into it. Okay, if you put everything into it and you get half of it out, at least you get some success.
All right. So the main things that my dad said that really, like, it really hit me was when he said, you can't have half done and think you're going to have the same success, right? So think about everything that you experienced this year and when you hit blockages and when you just felt like giving up. Were you 100% at doing what you were doing, right? Or were you really putting in all your all? Can you even tell yourself you're going to give up when you didn't even really 100% try, right? He said you can't put half-minded into anything and think you're going to get maximum benefits. You have to put everything into it. And if you put everything into it and you only get half out of it, at least you got something, some type of success. And as we move into 2018, right, a lot of us are thinking about New Year's resolutions. A lot of us are thinking about, all these new goals that we have. But really, for a lot of us dream drivers, it's keeping that inertia from the end of the year. It's keeping that ball moving forward. And just how do you do that? How do you get it so that you're fully trying? Because at the end of the year, it's really easy to slip into that whole half trying mindset, right? A lot of us are half trying. A lot of us are half thinking. A lot of us are half dreaming, half planning, half goaling, half doing. And I really want all of us at the end of this podcast to commit to one thing that we're going to wholeheartedly do. One thing that we're going to wholeheartedly do. I was recently listening to a podcast the other day, and the host was talking about how we need to have huge goals. I remember when I was a CBS intern, I was in the 60 Minutes building or the 60 Minutes offices, and I met this anchor. His name was Byron Pitts. And I didn't even know who he was. I didn't even know he was like a real, he was a big person at CBS at that time. And I remember him just talking to me, and he was like, what's your dream? And at that moment I was maybe 20 years old or something. And I didn't really know what to say to him. And he said, your dream should be so big that I should laugh at you and laugh at it. And I think about the goals I had going into 2017 about how I wanted to be like the top rated business podcast, how I wanted to reach 20,000 downloads a month, or not a month, 20,000 downloads an episode. And I didn't really reach those goals, but those were my goals. And I think when you aim high, you're going to push yourself more. If you're going to make it into 2018, you have to get that ball moving, but know that you're not just going to aim for getting that ball of yours that you're pushing down the regular old road. You need to tell yourself you're going to push that ball to the top of Mount Everest. And that's something that I want all of us listening into is like, what are those things that we really have to just hunker on? Because right now, it's the end of the year. A lot of us are in that half doing mode, that half trying mode. And that's not going to take us into 2018. And it's not going to take us once those whole New Year's resolution, whatever mojo energy runs off, because everyone has a New Year's resolution. But do you have a New Year's plan that goes beyond just January and February? And when I ask people a lot of times, like, why are you half trying? Like, why aren't you, really invested in the dream? Or why are you allowing yourself to kind of fall back from it? A lot of people say, no, I'm just not motivated. I'm not inspired. And that's kind of how I felt in December. I just had this whole funk about me. And I had to remind myself, like, motivation is a fluffy word. You'll never get anywhere if you dwell on how unmotivated you are. Most of us don't even know what motivation really means. We just hear it. We think motivation is the key to getting things done. We think motivation is the key to like life. And I really don't think it is. Being a kid, I remember I asked a lot of questions, and my parents were really big on the dictionary. And then whenever I asked them, hey, what does this mean? They would say, look it up, get the dictionary. So let's work backwards here. If a lot of us are getting stuck because we're so unmotivated, what does the word motivation actually mean? So I went to google.com. I went to Google University, and I typed in, define motivation, and there were two definitions. Number one was the reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way. So an example of that is escape can be a strong motivation for travel. So you have a motivation for something. So you need the word motivation with another word for that definition. And then the second definition is the general desire or willingness of someone to do something. So the example that they have is keep staff up to date and maintain interest and motivation. Right? So a synonym for that word is enthusiasm, drive, ambition, initiative, determination, enterprise. So in both instances of the word motivation, you need something associated with it. And a lot of people are out here wondering why they had no motivation, but they aren't actually associating the motivation with anything. They just think motivation just exists all within by itself. It doesn't. You need to define for yourself what is it that motivation is supposed to be for. So here are my tips for how we can get more motivated, how we can get really into the idea of whole doing, whole trying, whole putting everything that we have into something, because half trying is for 2017, right? 2018 is going to be about moving forward all the time. Even if it's a little bit, at least we're fully committed to just moving forward a little bit, right? So I think the biggest thing of motivation is really figuring out, like, what's the purpose? What's that deeper desire? And your purpose is what's going to drive you and give you momentum, which is what we all talk about, right? So number one, you have to stop using that word motivation and really start getting clear. So I'll be really honest with you guys. So December, I was really doubting or questioning what's my role in podcasting is supposed to be. It's something that I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, it's been 2 years of me interviewing people, and I'm really trying to think about, like, with my 9 to 5, what is it that I want to do? Am I running away from my real purpose? Am I scared to make a step? All these things have been like circling in my head. So because I have all this doubt and fear, it was easy for me to succumb to this feeling of being uninspired. But when really I was questioning my purpose, so that's why I didn't feel inspired, because when you are not questioning, you have some kind of deeper connection to your vision and your purpose. So for me, it was to stop using that word motivation. Like, I had to stop saying, I have no motivation. No. I really am doubting and not sure what my next step in this podcasting and what dreams and drive has to be. So number one, I got real clear on what it was. I stopped using that BS word motivation. I got real clear on it. Number two, I had to say to myself, what's my goal? What is it that I want to do? And that's the hard thing, because sometimes when we have to ask ourselves the hard questions, we run from it. And we just get stuck in this whole, I'm uninspired, I'm unmotivated, I'm this. So I had to go back to the list I had early in the years. I want to be one of the top business podcasts. I want to have 20,000 downloads per episode, which is not even that much in thinking about it, but it was my goal for the beginning of the year. Then I had to say, so what's the blockage? At this point in 2017, why is it that I'm so doubtful and so fearful? And I honestly think, if you go back to my dad's thing about, half trying, and me talking about all the things a lot of us suffer from, half trying, half thinking, half dreaming, half planning, half goaling, half doing. My biggest thing was, I'm a half planner. I operate on this idea of, it'll come to me. I can be free for all. I'm very organized and very process driven, but when it comes to me really planning the future farther than 3 months, I start panicking. And thinking about this whole idea of what separates winners or people who are successful from those who are not successful is, what is the plan? Because if you have a vision, but you aren't necessarily planning, and I even made a quote about this, when in doubt, plan it out. I think that's my biggest thing going into 2018, is what I have to commit to wholeheartedly doing is planning, because 2 years I've been able to really do a lot of these interviews, and a lot of the momentum has been natural and organic, but in order to scale it and in order to get really clear and less doubtful, I have to start being very crystal clear on the plans that I'm working towards. So when I'm thinking about, why I felt so blah, I could go back and say, I really wasn't uninspired. I really wasn't unmotivated. I think it was, as I said, I was fearful and doubtful because I had no plan, because for a whole year I kind of had been half planning. I hadn't been putting my all into it, but I know if I had a plan of some sort, it would give me some type of direction. And I think I talked about this in a Facebook Live about the importance of having a GPS and having our internal GPS. What's our internal GPS looking like? Is we need that GPS. Like, we can't exist. We can't be dream drivers if we don't know where we're going. And I am wholly committed to figuring out that plan for 2018 and using that as momentum into the new year. So I said, number one was stop using the word motivation and get clearer on it, right? What is the real blockage? We have to define motivation as not having a willingness to do something, or, lacking ambition, drive, enthusiasm, initiative for something. And once you define what that for is, then you can figure out what the blockage is. And then there's just some basic questions you have to ask yourself. Why is there traffic on the road? Why is your GPS not working? Where does this action need to be taken? And once you do that, you can work on fixing and finding the root causes of the traffic. Because I think a lot of us do want to wholly do something, but there's so many things holding us back. And it's so easy to just put a pacifier in and just say, I'm uninspired, I'm unmotivated, and we never take action. And it's funny because even before I started this podcast, I had this deep desire to do it, but I just told myself, I'm unmotivated. But I really was scared. And it took Nate Hopetaffel, who I tell you guys all the time, when I interviewed him, he said, what's stopping you? There's people out here who are not as smart as you, who are not as good as you, who are out here making things happen, so you can as well. And it took him waking me up to get it together. So I'm going to ask everyone who's listening to this right now is, what are you half doing? There's something that you're half doing with, whether it be your brand, your business, your life, something that you're half doing. If you just fully committed to whole doing it, even if it's for a month, you'll see results, and those results will give you momentum. It's all about figuring out the cause of why we're half doing something. What's the real problem? Work on fixing that, and then tell yourself you're not going to use that as an excuse anymore. Because as my father was saying, when we were younger, he used to always get mad at me because I would always just rush washing dishes, and he would send me back once, send me back twice. I didn't learn my lesson. Like, I would just still always rush it. And he's like, why are you rushing it? And I'm like, because I don't like doing it. And he told me, but you do know if you just spend the time to do it one time good, you don't have to keep coming back. So even if there's something in your business that you just hate doing, and the fact of it, the thought of it, doing it just makes you upset, know if you just learn to master it once, you can outsource it to somebody else. But you need to master it just once, and you need to just conquer it. And then that momentum, that energy will get you to the next level. And as I say all the time to us dream drivers, is we need to have that self-awareness, like that desire to help develop oneself is so important. As we go into 2018, I want us all to think about, how bad do you really want it? How bad do you really want it? And is a thing you say you want really badly, really what you want badly? And if not, you should focus on what that thing is, because life is short. I had someone close to me experience really tragic medical injury, and one minute you can be up walking, the next minute your whole life could change. Life is so short. And I know they say this to us all the time. They're like, don't waste your time in situations, experiences, doing things that you're gonna regret. And I'm only 26, and I know people might be like, oh my God, you're still young. But I think that's something that I'm learning now, is life is so short that tell the people that you love them while they're here. Do the things that you want to do while you still can. Experience what you want to experience. Make the mistakes. Don't let fear hold you back, because there's so much on the other side of fear. There's so much that we can be had when we just fully invest ourselves into our dreams and our passion. That's why I call this thing Dreams and Drive. I didn't call it Dreams and Pause, Dreams and Stop, Dreams and Neutral. This is Dreams and Drive. And we're all on the path to getting and staying in drive. And that's what my thing is for everyone listening in this year. I just want to thank you so much for continuing to be there and continuing to help me stay committed and continuing to help me. You can't give up because there's somebody out there who needs what you're delivering. There's somebody out there who's listening to you that you may never know. I may have never walked in on my dad listening to me, and I would have never known that he gets so much out of those episodes, right? And you're not always going to get that, but you have to stay committed to fully doing it. You have to. You really, really have to. And there's something my dad said, I wish I had recorded this part, but he said, don't tell me you can't do it if you didn't try. Don't tell me that it's over until it's really over. And it's never going to be over because you always have the opportunity to pivot. You always have the opportunity to do something else. If whatever you're trying to do doesn't work, but you can't let that mindset even come anywhere near you in 2018. So yeah, that's really my message for today. I hope it wasn't too backwards. I just really felt inspired and really wanted to talk about the whole idea of stop half trying, because there's so much to be accomplished on the other side of that half doing and half dreaming, half going, or whatever it is. And also what I think is really important for us to do is to just continue to motivate one another, continue to show support to other people, because we need that encouragement. We need to know that people are seeing what we're doing, and it's just fuel and encouragement for when we are down, because you never know what someone's going through. I say that all the time. You never know what someone is going through, and that's another reason why I shared my story. As I told you guys, I shared my personal story on Elle. I did a video with them on the cost of being a woman. And I shared my story, which is something that I want to share on the podcast as well, in depth, maybe in 2018. Is this podcast has been like my therapy session. It has been something that has kept me going during a time in my life that was really, really tough for me. And just knowing that I had the podcast, having that something to go and put my all into, really, really helped heal me and really helped keep me moving forward. So just know that may be something else for each of us listening in. And we all have that thing that we need, and we all need that encouragement. And we don't know all the time who else we're impacting. So just keep on going, keep on doing. This is really just supposed to be a really positive pick me up end of year episode. I'm really excited about all the guests that we have coming in 2018, and also just really getting more focused and more planned. I will do an event in 2018. I'm telling you guys, I will. I am willing it. I am saying it so I can hold myself accountable. But if anybody does want to do a surprise Dreams and Drive surprise party, just let me know. We can make that happen. I also am selling t-shirts, guys. So if you want a Dreams and Drive tee, I have them in stock and I can ship them out to you. Just hit me up on Twitter or Instagram or send me an email. I have them in sizes small to extra large. And also they're available in red, black, gray, green, or blue. And I also have crew necks available in red and black as well. So just hit me up on those platforms. And remember, we have our giveaway of the week. We are giving away a Carol's Daughter hair milk gift set. So you get 3 products in that, and we're giving them to 2 lucky winners. So make sure to go to dreamsanddrive.com to enter to win a Carol's Daughter hair milk gift set. That should be really, really cool. I also want to take some time to just read one of the reviews that we got this past week. I love when everyone leaves reviews. If you want to leave a review and get yours read on the next episode, please do that. All right, so this one is from Namaste. Reading from Southern Cali. This is a podcast that everyone can benefit from because everyone has a dream and desire they're working towards. Thank you, Raina, for allowing your listeners to be a part of your dreams in motion. It's awesome to watch your podcast grow and flourish as it has. And thank you so much. And it's funny because somebody on Facebook hit me up and just told me all the ways that they've watched the podcast develop. They watch me be a better interviewer. They watch the episodes get more developed, more produced. And people really are out here watching your growth. People really are seeing you and being inspired by what you do. So you cannot give up on yourself. Honestly, you really can't. Because if you don't feel like you're growing, you are. Because other people are noticing it. And I just want to tell everybody listening that you are growing. Just the very fact that you're listening to this every week, you're committed to it. So let's all just commit to 2018. We're going to do things. We're going to stop half trying, stop half doing, stop half dreaming, half going, half do whatever. Like, we need to be fully committed to it. Get Beyonce focused on those dreams. Okay. And then we have one from Nate, aka Creator. Raina provides the kind of positivity that is sorely lacking in many corners of life these days. She has the kind of personality that naturally draws you in and makes you feel a connection with her, a great way to recharge the batteries. Thank you, Nate. There's also something in 2018 I want to do more of, because I know me, and I think sometimes I know a lot of you listeners want to get to know more about me because I'm always interviewing people. Listen, if you guys want to know more about me, send me questions, because I don't know what it is that you necessarily want to hear. So I would love to talk more about myself. I think it's episode 23 and 24 is when one of my friends interviewed me, but I would love to, open myself up to that journey a bit more. So I am definitely down for that. If you enjoyed this episode, please, please, please share it on social. We are Dreams and Drive on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Screenshot this, put it on Instagram stories, or you can put it on Facebook or a Twitter post, whatever you want to do. I really be appreciative of that. Also, please, please, please join our Dreams and Drive Facebook group. Just go to dreamsanddrive.com/Facebook. If you want to join it, we're going to be popping in 2018. I'm so excited for everything. And just know that if you are feeling burned out, if you are feeling like you are very unclear, self-care is so important. Like, that's why last week I didn't get the episode out on Monday. I just really couldn't. But I told myself, I didn't give up. I said, all right, you're not going to put it out Monday. You're going to put it out Tuesday morning. And I did. So self-care is definitely important. I'm not telling us all to work until we're dead. No, I don't believe in that. But I do think that we can fully commit to something, because there's a difference between doing something fully but not burning yourself out. So please, let us all commit to doing that in 2018, guys. I'm not sure if I'll have another episode before the end of the year. I might. So please stay tuned. It might be a little shorter episode with one of our guests. I'm not exactly sure yet, but keep dreaming, keep driving, and we'll chat again in episode 125. I'm so excited for 2018. Thank you guys all for rocking with me. I hope you had a happy holidays. I hope your New Year's is going to be popping and lit. I'm hoping to try to find some Jamaican dance hall bashment to go to. I love dancing. I miss dancing a lot. So, okay. Talk to you guys later. Bye.